you wouldn't try this, that kind of behavior in a small town, because a small town would not tolerate it. Hello everyone, this is RangerRob and welcome to the RangerRob Country Living channel. You would probably assume, and you'd be assuming right, that if you have a channel like we do on homesteading and stuff like that, we watch a lot of other shows that have talked about the same subject. We do listen to probably more alternative news than the local news and stuff. I mean, the local news and band and that, they're kind of down to earth, but occasionally you can see they're influenced by the bigger networks and stuff. But I was watching a podcast from Good Simple Living. Is that Good Simple Living? Yeah. There's some folks up in Oregon, and they were addressing the new song out called Small Town Living. I'll just say it to that. So there's a lot of controversy about the song, and basically they're saying some of the stuff that's gone on in the big cities probably wouldn't be tolerated in the small cities, and I can definitely relate with that. In fact, they were talking about their experience. Sherry and I both grew up in Washington State. We lived in a smaller town called Kent, Washington, but we grew up as kids going to Seattle. Not being afraid to go there at night. We do take the metro bus out there and go see the Seattle Center and stuff like that. And our parents would not think anything of it and all that. But now it's just the city's a dump, just like our Portland's got its problems, and it's atrocious. And basically the song of you wouldn't try this, that kind of behavior in a small town, because a small town would not tolerate it. And so it kind of made me start thinking, here in Crooked River Ranch, Terrebonne area, Central Oregon, are we the kind of small towns that wouldn't tolerate our cities being destroyed by protesters and stuff? They call them protesters, but if they're burning down businesses or destroying cars or insulting our law enforcement, our fire department, stuff like that, would we stand up and say, no, you're not going to do that here? It's an interesting question, because I've seen, I actually have been on Crooked River Ranch since 1999, so over 20 years, and I left and came, and anyway, but I've seen a few changes. I do think a lot of, and I'm putting this up for discussion, so I may bring up, I'm not even totally bought into certain things, but I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think. Like, I live in a place called Crooked River Ranch, where we have about 4,500 residents on the ranch. I might be off a little bit. And, 25% of people I've met here are like, what can I do? You know, so glad I met you. I'm available to you if you need help. You know, if you broke down on the side of the road on the ranch, would you get help? And before 20 years ago, you could see a little bit more unity in the community. It's still here, but not as strong as I think it was back then. Could be wrong. There's been people that have lived here a long time, and you know, really, the ranch pretty much isn't all that different. I think since that time we got a new fire department and a few things, businesses have come and go, but pretty much not really big changes. Terrebonne hasn't really changed that much either. So I have noticed, I mean, you see the reports in our local paper of police reports, or we have also, everybody has that software next door to look at, and you can see people are a lot of times a lot nosier than they should be, but small towns are like that. A lot of judgment is always put on people, even if they don't know the whole story. So that's kind of one of the reasons on this channel we talk so much about community, and we do it in more of a homestead prepping kind of say, because it doesn't really look all that good about what's going to happen with our finances and stuff in the future. I'm really hoping it's just a lot of hype, but it doesn't look that way. And I know we could, especially in a place like this, is like, how do you feel about digital money? Well, how do you deal with digital money when you're having a garage sale or swap meet or farmers markets? How crazy will that get? You know, just, or will we actually do more bartering? That's where precious metals might come in handy, and stuff like that. That's has trading ability. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Now, I'm getting up in age, and a lot of us folks I know that are up in age is like, well, I feel sorry for my kids and our grandkids. They're going to have to deal with this stuff, and there's some really evil stuff that could be going on, and you know, there's so many things to talk about. You could talk about good versus evil, or whether the intent, you know, they'll talk about digital money being convenient, where if I was to sell my truck and we did the digital swap here, if they put trackability on everything we own as a token, like the token for my truck is assigned to me. So I want to sell this truck, I'd get through an app or whatever, but they're also talking about a chip in your hand or other things, and maybe your cell phone. The transaction would happen immediately, where the money would go into my account, and automatically the truck would be automatically theirs. A transaction, one-time thing. That'd be kind of nice. But what if they start regulating how many trucks you can own? Or maybe you're not allowed to buy this truck because it's diesel. You know, it could get interesting. And we don't know if it's going to be like that or not. And but it sure seems like it's going that way. And the banks are acting funny right now. The reports are kind of funny. Even Law and Order is acting funny, where it's exceptions for others, and you know, it's just not, it just don't feel right. But getting back to the small town, is the area like the Crooked River Ranch? Are we the kind of people that, what if we start getting some protesters causing trouble in Redmond or Terrebonne, or even Crooked River Ranch and our little businesses here? And what if we start getting into transactional digital money where there's social aspects of, are people going to start snitching on each other and say, well, I know that they're selling things under the table and they're not using digital money. I'm gonna tell others. You know, I feel like our area is on the cusp of falling into the bigger town trends a little bit. Now, obviously, issues are more intense, say in Bend, Oregon, than say these small towns out here. And so I guess the biggest thing is the that new song that's out. I forgot the guy's name. That it wouldn't be tolerated in small town. Well, one of the reasons we moved, I mean, we came from the big cities, and we embrace the small town. Now we do know that more people talk about you or be a little bit more snoopies, you know, snooping on what you're doing around your properties and stuff. And for a fact, it's like I was trying to get some information about a new service on the ranch, and I called what our political side of the associations and stuff, and they're skeptical and didn't. Well, you guys have seen my content. It's always positive. I wouldn't be calling about your business and want to interview you unless there was something good. And if there's controversy, I do it in a proactive way. We don't. This isn't an evil channel. So why was I treated a little bit like I was? They're a little hostile to me a little bit, to the fact that, oh, we want to know your questions first and all these things. It's like, have I ever done a show that would make you worry whether I'd ask about your service and do something negative? Anyway, so I'm just not going to interview them. The heck with them. I'll find out the information in a different way, with real people that and that's what power does a lot. I don't care if it's a church, I don't care if it's an association, homeowners, whatever. Some people just thrive on that stuff, and they become interesting people. So I'm feeling a little bit of the things are a little bigger than they used to be, and a little bit more us and them. There's people that don't like me because I do this show, and that's too bad. Even for folks I've been uncomfortable with and stuff, I'll give them a fair shake, and hopefully they'll do the same for us. But here we love the community. We love Crooked River Ranch, and we love the fact that it's really hasn't changed a whole lot in 20 years, other than just a few political things and stuff. There's a whole, since the time I was here before now, there's a whole new players. Like we knew all the players back in the chamber. There was a Chamber of Commerce here. Chamber of Commerce, and we used to association, and the same old stuff. And anyway, just different faces, all that. But I can assure you on this channel, we are looking for the good things that the community does. And if you'd like us to interview you, and you'd like us to mention what you do, like I think the last one I did an interview with a gal that does grooming on the ranch for dogs. yeah, I've never heard of her, and what a charming person. And came out to be here. She had no idea what I was going to ask her, but she was like, yeah, I assured her to be positive. But yeah, we're not out to cause trouble. We're out to cause community and get together and support each other, because I think, getting back to what I was saying, is we're concerned about community and the fact of prepping and survivability and helping each other. Some people are going to have trouble getting food. Some people are going to have trouble getting transportation. And some people are going to lose their homes or whatever. And I just think having a tight community, that's why we have our podcast, and we talk about our animals we raise, and butchering animals and raising pigs and stuff like that, is trying to learn to be a little more independent, and not so much relying on government programs and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, I'm curious to hear your opinion. I'm curious to see your comments. I might be surprised and figure out people aren't concerned about this at all. But times are changing, and I think there's some real critical things changing, and it's going to be different. I mean, the city folks are going to feel a lot different about it than us folks in small towns. And I'm just curious, do you even pay attention to it? Maybe you're not even concerned. Maybe you don't watch the news. Maybe you'll say, oh, the stuff they're talking about will never happen here. It will never affect us. Anyway, and you may be right. And may be concerned about nothing. But I think it's still worth a discussion. And if you live on Kruger River Ranch, or you lived in the Central Oregon area, do you still feel the same? If you've been here for a while, do you feel like it hasn't changed much, or it's changing too much, or you think there's some positive things that we could do to get our communication better? And are we losing more of our rights? Are we still a strong constitutional state, county, whole works? Well, who knows? I'd love to hear your opinion, and so that's what this is all about. So I thought I'd just ask. So guys, I hope I didn't stir it up too much. We love y'all, and we'll do continue sharing our community stuff as best we can, and yeah, and if we learn something new, we'll pass it on. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye. This video is made possible by RangerRob Poopy Bags, available in Amazon right now. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.